In our previous video, we learned about the grave temerity involved in denying undefined doctrines set forth by the Church. We continue from the Dogmatic Catechism. If it were necessary that a truth should be defined and declared to be of faith in order to be certain, it would not be certain that Christ walked upon earth with his feet, such fact having never been defined and declared to be of faith. Hence we clearly perceive that it would be a perverse and unreasonable mode of reasoning for a theologian to argue thus. It is not defined and declared to be of faith that in hell there is material fire, that the contracting parties are the ministers of the sacrament of matrimony, that the Pope is infallible when he speaks ex cathedra and is superior to a general council. Therefore all these things may be denied or regarded as doubtful. A theologian who should reason in this manner would err grievously, for although these truths have not been defined and declared as of faith, they are commonly believed and recognized as certain by the Church. If it were necessary that a truth should be defined and declared to be of faith in order to be certain and require belief, why practice any of the following? Praying the Rosary, even once during your life. It is not defined that you must pray the Rosary at all. Wearing the scapular of Our Lady of Mount Carmel. Going to monthly confession, or even confession once every 6 months. Receiving Holy Communion once a week or even once a month. Wearing, using, or distributing St. Benedict medals, miraculous medals, etc. Engaging in 30 minutes of spiritual reading daily, or just even 15 minutes of spiritual reading once every year. On and on the list could go. None of the aforementioned devotional practices have been formally defined by the Church as being requirements for salvation. Yet what practicing Catholic of goodwill would not pray the Rosary daily, wear the brown scapular, make use of the sacrament of confession monthly or even more often, do their best to receive weekly, if not daily, Holy Communion? To support this source of Father Frassanetti, we add one short citation from a work from 1946. This work, Questions of Catholics Answered by Father Herbst, gives another reminder that there are truths of the Catholic faith that demand our firm assent, even though these truths are not formally defined. Father Herbst states, "The Church teaches that in addition to the pain of loss, which is a negative punishment, there is also a positive punishment, the pain of sense, commonly referred to as hellfire. The reality of hellfire, as an instrument of the sense of pain, has never been solemnly defined as an article of faith, though it is said that if the Vatican Council had not been interrupted, it would have been so defined. But meanwhile it is clear that no one may doubt the reality of hellfire without grievous sin. It would not be formal heresy to deny it, but willful error and temerity, and no Catholic can deny it without grave sin against the faith." Although our purpose here is not to contemplate hell, we'll save that for your upcoming Ignatian retreat, but rather to consider that there are multiple truths of the faith that you cannot deny without major culpability on your part. Even if that culpability was only a venial sin, one would not want to assent in opposition to the Church. However, this potential for grave sin, or mortal sin, should clearly be enough to elicit the quick and solid assent of our intellect to doctrines that have such universal teaching as the Catholic doctrines of creation. It should be out of a simple desire for docility to all that Christ and his Church teaches that one should want to assent to the many teachings and doctrines of the Church on creation. In addressing the sins that flow from the forgetfulness of these Catholic doctrines of creation, we continue here by turning to the words of Father Faber. We quote from his book, The Creator and the Creature. Forgetfulness of God has been in all ages the grand evil of the world, a forgetfulness contrary to reason, and so opposed also to the daily evidence of the senses, that it can be accounted for on no other hypothesis than that of original sin and the mystery of the fall. Let us, in turn, not forget the error and sin of turning from truths of the faith, even if not formally defined. The evil of forgetting the different truths that are contained in the Catholic doctrines of creation and the world view that is acquired by assenting to the truth and reality that flows from these creation doctrines only further offends God and works for the ruin of souls. In our next video, we will see what Pope Pius IX has to say on this central issue of the faith.